Welcome. This isn't your average movie podcast. We go where no man has gone before.
You know what I'm craving? A little perspective.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, say something, goddammit! You're on television! You're live to the whole world!
Join us as we review movies new and old. You're tuned into Lupo's Cinema Symposium.
Hello, and welcome back to Lupo's Cinema Symposium. My name is Rob. I'm joined today, as always, by Christian.
Cage goes in the water. You go in the water. Sharks in the water. Our shark.
And Jimmy. Now your turn. Say something. Say something smart.
You gotta turn left to turn right. That's from Cars.
3 times.
Thank you. Today we have another staff pick. If you're just listening for the first time, why? But just so you know, staff picks, we select. This week it's my movie. Normally we are doing a wheel situation and it's random, but we said it's nice to pick them once in a while. So today is my movie. It is Oldboy by Park Chan-wook. I think that's how you say his name.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm interested to jump right in and hear your thoughts, because anybody that has seen this movie will know it is pretty crazy. I figured it would be a good one for the pod. So I have seen it before. Christian, have you seen it before?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and Jimmy has seen no movies ever, so
No.
he has never seen this. So I think we should start with you, Jim.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I looked up nothing at all about this movie before I watched, and I was actually, no, I kind of lied. I was confused by the various amount of remakes and reboots. So there was this movie, which was made in 2003, and then they made one for an American adaptation in 2013. Now, there is also another one that was titled Oldboy, made in 2023. Is that just a remake of is that like a Korean remake? Is that just another remake?
It's already Korean. But I don't know about that movie, so
okay. I'm
not sure.
When I first go to search for movies, usually most of the time it's pretty easy on the various things, and I almost had a little bit of a spaz moment because I couldn't find it. But thankfully Amazon took my $6.99 for me to rent this movie. And I just want to, before we actually get started in the movie, I do want to give some complaints to the Amazon video player, because this is a foreign film and I do not know Korean. I was forced to rely on subtitles, which normally isn't no big deal. I've consumed an anime or two, I'm about that. But for whatever reason, during scenes when the characters would be speaking, it would just stop giving me the captions. So that was dope. I had to pause some scenes and rewind or refresh my computer. So I'm gonna maybe dial back my thumbs down to give it a 50-50, like a 50-50 thumb, because it could have just been that I'm technically illiterate and I was just messing it up or something. But the movie itself is a great movie. It was I haven't seen a lot of really there's not that many films that I can kind of relate to it. So it has a Fight Club, a Everything Everywhere All at Once vibe, where it's super crazy crazy and wacky.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd.
Absolutely absurd would be a really good word for it. Absurd in multiple meanings of the word. So absurd comes in the form of this one chick hallucinating a giant ant just like saying what's up to her on the train, and then absurd. It comes in another form of um, just like the corridor fight scene absurd when it comes to the main antagonist of the film or any of the goons, anything with a goon, really. And so it kept me very, very entertained. I was very interested all throughout the movie. I will say the first half, or maybe the first block act, if you will, when he gets like kidnapped and slowly loses his mind. Um I was intrigued. That might be the right word. I wasn't super like uh
You weren't locked in.
yeah, that's actually the perfect way to describe it. I wasn't locked in, and then the second he pops out, I was hooked. I was like, I want to see where this is going. I was very entertained by the whole process, and I watched this movie in 2 sittings. So the first was about like an hour and a half, basically everything up to the final confrontation scene. And so I think honestly, in it almost made it a better viewing experience because the entire next day when I was at work, I was just kind of like sitting there, just like thinking about this movie. And thankfully, I did not spoil myself. And that just kind of made the last, like the finale or the last like act or piece of the movie so much better to me. And I just had so much fun watching this movie. And I really do appreciate you recommending this because as a non film knower, uh, this is a really good movie, and I can't wait to talk about it. I talked about it with my
Yeah.
coworkers, and they did not see it, so I finally get to lord over other people about not watching movies, and that might be the greatest thing about this podcast.
Yeah.
I do want to
Go
interject
ahead.
real quickly about watching it in split viewings. And like, there's a lot of criticism over like how modern movie viewers watch things and like how their attention span isn't long enough to watch that. But I want to offer a counterpoint to that, where I actually think that taking your time to digest a film in multiple viewings can be really good for you, or like good for the experience, right? Like taking it piece by piece and digesting it and processing it before you move on to the next emotional beat or like part of the story. I think that is a great way to view movies. Like a lot of filmmakers will disagree, and that's fine. I'm not a filmmaker, but like they're like, no, my thing is an hour and a half, and I want your experience to be an hour and a half. I think I think that from time to time, it's very beneficial to watch movies the way you watched it.
Yeah,
I agree. I think like that's why for so long intermissions were a thing. I don't
What's
think
the last movie that came out with an intermission that you saw? I know
I
the answer.
yeah, the brutalist.
The Brutalist.
wow.
Uh, yeah. So I think it does. I agree. I think it is okay sometimes. There are situations where I think it does worsen the movie, especially if it's a movie with a lot of momentum. I think a movie like this where it's so psychological and it's built around this mystery, it does lend itself to that. And I think probably like whenever Jimmy stopped, like what did you say? It was 45 minutes left.
It was literally right before. It
He
might have
went
been
to the
like
penthouse.
the very like scene before that.
Yeah.
So I
So it's
want to say,
honestly a
Jimmy,
pretty
like,
good spot to stop.
Yeah,
yeah,
in
like you
retrospect, I was
say
like,
that
wow, this is perfect.
you say that you're not good at watching movies and that you're media illiterate, but you were able to intuit like a really perfect stopping point in that movie. So give yourself some
Yeah.
credit.
Thank you. I knew when it was, for whatever reason, I just knew I was like something really big is going to happen here, and I was very EP, and I was like, I think I would appreciate this more with a fresh eyes. Also,
Yeah.
that and specifically this movie, um, being able to really think about probably like another rewatch too, because when it's like a mystery like this, and there's pieces that sometimes when there's like writing like this or just kind of the way like a character will come up to the answer of a clue really quickly before I could even think about how he even got to that conclusion. Uh, Even as I was thinking about it yesterday, I was starting to piece some of the clues together while I was thinking about it. I just was kind of blown away by like, oh, like I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but he just kind of goes, he just knows like where to go and like what to do as he's unraveling the mystery. And I'm sure upon multiple watches, it makes itself more easier because you know the answer.
Well, let's
Yeah.
let's start let's start with like maybe the big plot point, the big like bomb dropped at the end that Mido is his daughter. Were you able to get any idea of that throughout the film?
Low key, I'm not normally this guy. If we've listened to other podcast episodes, yeah, you'll know that I am always the last one to get where the twist is going, and I can't. If Robbie was here, if me and Robbie watched it together, I would have said it, but I thought it was coming, uh, from the very beginning. As soon as just for whatever reason, I thought it was really funny that they specifically, whenever I first saw the phrase 15 years, I don't know why, but I just pieced it together. I was like, oh, he's gonna like. I thought it was gonna be something with the daughter, and I just thought too, like when he looked at the the chick in the show, like the cooking show that she was on, and
Mm,
then that chick, I didn't actually piece it together until he literally said like, "Oh, I saw you on TV." When I first
mhm.
saw that
Yeah.
Mito's character appear, I was like, there's something purposeful about this because you start to see like some beginning signs where like even though he's outside, there's still like a large outside force that is like controlling his interactions with the environment. So I just thought that was something, but I didn't actually get like the twist until probably a little bit before it actually happens, before it's actually
Well,
revealed.
I think the movie does a good job of like leaving the puzzle pieces there, but it leaves enough doubt. Like the whole time, or pretty early on, he's suspicious of her, and like why. Like it is very coincidental how they end up in that situation together, and he ends up in her house and everything. So nothing really adds up from the beginning, and he's questioning it. But he's the kind of one of the things he does throughout the movie is he always asks the wrong questions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how they lay those puzzle pieces out, but it doesn't really give you a clear enough picture where you can say for certain until exactly the right moment where it reveals everything to you. And it sometimes movies with big reveals, it feels like cheap because it kind of comes out of nowhere. This comes out of nowhere, but in a different way because it makes everything makes sense, and the reveal itself contextualizes everything that comes before it. Um, so I think that's one of the things I really loved about this movie is just how the mystery is kept alive the entire time, and there's enough things to kind of distract you and keep you guessing. And on rewatch, it's even more fun, I think, to kind of see all that stuff and see everything for what it is.
Yeah.
I picked this movie. I figured it would be like I was really worried that Jimmy would get it spoiled. So I kind of didn't want him to look anything up, but I figured it would be like this is a movie that I think everyone should see once.
Hmm.
I think it's one of those movies like it's kind of a film bro movie. It's kind of like Fight Club where like there's like people that like if they've seen like 5 movies, this is one of them. But it is really that good. Like it is that good a movie. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I love this movie.
Um, so when did you first, or how did you first come across this movie?
I was a kid. I think it might have been on early Netflix or something. I watched this. Actually, it's funny. I think I talked last pod about a movie called Mind Game, which is like an anime. I think I watched this and that in the same day when I was like 12, on early Netflix. Um, and I don't know why I watched this in particular. I must have heard about it somewhere. I don't really know. Um, but it's always stuck with me. I mean, it's a crazy movie, and especially this past year, Park Chan Wook released No Other Choice, and I love that movie as well. I think that movie, if it's not as good as this, it's pretty close. Um, so I just think he's a really interesting filmmaker. I will say he's not like one of my favorite filmmakers or anything, because a lot of his movies, he almost does have that M. Night Shyamalan thing where like you kind of know something's coming all the time. Um, but he's also better than that. He's not. He's a much better filmmaker than M. Night. But
Sometimes his melodrama is a bit much for me.
yeah,
I think. Not all the time. Like that, I'm not, because I think he is a good filmmaker, but I would agree with you that he's not one of my favorites.
yeah. Like I think this is probably my favorite of his. But I think he's become a better director since this movie, if that makes sense. I think a lot of what works about this movie is the performances and the writing, and there is some great like visual stuff too, like the hallway fight, and just how things are structured and certain shots. Like I love the shot. The two shots that just popped into my head right away is when he first gets kidnapped and you see the wings on the street in the bag. And
I
then
love the camera movement of that shot.
yeah, and then later on when uh what's her name, Mito, I think, she's locked up in the whatever the proto prison thing, and she's on the bed in the wings, and that's right before all that stuff goes down. So it's almost like a little hint as to where everything's going.
Yeah, I want to build on that a little bit if that's okay, because
Yeah, go ahead.
something I noticed this time around was that he's like, the cinematography is very interesting to me of this movie, and he does something rather simple, and it's not a hard and fast rule, like it's not always what he does, but if things are staying still, the camera is moving, and if things are moving, the camera is staying relatively still, and I was like, that's so I now I want to go back and watch every movie I've ever watched to see like, do you know what I like? No,
Yeah.
I was noticing little things about like that, and I don't know. I was just like, wow, that has to be an intentional choice. I mean, obviously that's his whole job, right? But like, I was just like, wow, that's impressive, and it really like makes everything you're looking at interesting, or more interesting rather.
Yeah. I think it's very, like Jimmy was talking about the absurdity. Like there's a lot of absurdity in this, but like the most absurd thing, and it's so the villain's whole I like this whole plot. Well, part of the reasons it's so surprising everything that happens is because this is such a like crazy way to get back at somebody for a perceived like wrongdoing. And the reveal ultimately, it is kind of like he he didn't like he the main character describes himself as evil, so like in the whole movie it is clear he's not really a great guy, but like the one thing that he's getting punished for is kind of like trivial. Like he happened to catch them doing something and he told his friend and they kind of were like, okay. And now this guy's blaming his sister's death on that. So there is guilt there because, you know, he did do something, he did cause it indirectly, but really what caused it is the actions of the brother and sister. So, like, it's misplaced guilt, and I think I just think all that's really interesting, and the movie does a good, like, you're just on his side right away because of this perceived injustice. But one of the things I like about the movie is when you really look at everything at the end, he isn't a good guy. He's actually arguably a pretty bad guy. Um, and that also is dependent on how you read the ending, which I think we should talk about that.
I have a lot to
But
say
he-
about the ending.
But he literally describes himself as evil. And in the beginning, I mean, he doesn't do anything outright evil, but he is
At
not there
most,
for his
like a
daughter's
negligent
birthday.
father
Yeah, exactly.
and an alcoholic. But I mean,
Yeah.
who isn't? Am I right?
And then real quick, the other main like thematic thing that I love about this is just how it looks at revenge, because
Yes.
I think revenge in movies is one of the most common and useful tropes in film, because it's an easy way to get an audience on your side. It's easy, it's quick, and it works every single time, and that's why they use it to death. And this movie kind of shows that as a complete thought, because ultimately, when the guy finally gets his revenge, he realizes that revenge can be a great motivation and can get things done really effectively, but it's kind of an empty, whatever you want to call it, emotion, or it's an empty.
Oh yeah, he shoots himself in the elevator. He had
Yeah.
nothing left after that. He
Yeah.
was like, revenge was the only thing motivating me, and now there's nothing left for me to do. Like
And,
like
and
my
even
life
if
is
you
over.
even if you look at Daesu's character, and like he's motivated sort not necessarily by revenge. I guess it is a sort of form of revenge. The revenge kind of becomes more like a search for answers, but ultimately that also leads him down a negative path, because instead of just letting things go and moving on with his life and like accepting something bad happened to him and dealing with the trauma and moving on, he goes down this
Well-
path and he finds out answers to questions
Well,
that he realizes he never wanted.
I don't know if he could have, Rob. And what I mean by that is yeah, we could say like the past is the past, but that is 15 years of sitting in the same hotel room. That's not a trivial bad thing that happened
No,
to you.
I think about-
My thing is like he might have woken up on a rooftop and not in that hotel room, but he is not free. He will he's still in prison by the questions in his head. Like, why did this happen to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this? And we can say like he's not a good guy, but it's not like he was a horrible person, right?
well, we don't know that.
We don't
the
know
thing.
anything
We don't
about
know
him,
that.
right? But
Well, here's what we
interaction-
know. Here's what we know. The reason I say that is because he ultimately, it doesn't really matter why he was locked up, and I think he knows that. When he gets locked up initially, he has like 5 names in his head that like he thinks, oh, they could have possibly done this to me already, and they're not even correct. So like he has reasons in his head to think like why this could be possibly happening to him. To me, that says like maybe you've done things in the past and and these are the consequences now, and you need to just turn a new page and like move on and like live a constructive life from here on out and like learn from this experience. And he kind of is stuck. It is a prison, and that's one of the themes of the movie too. It's just how you can constantly be stuck in a prison of your own making.
I guess yeah, I mean, and that kind of ties into the ending, right? Like, and
Yeah.
the poem that keeps popping up, or the part of the poem, laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. Like,
Yeah.
it is what you make of it.
Yeah. I guess we should talk about the ending. What do you guys think? Let me ask Jimmy first. What did you think of the very ending, Jim? Like not the reveal, but like the very final scene.
Yeah, like he got hypnotized to basically choose to. The way that it is set up is that the hypnotist said, "This person, this part of you that knows this secret, will basically go away and disappear." And he wakes up in the middle of the snowbank, and his daughter comes up to him, and they hug, and he does kind of like that creepy smile that he saw from that painting in his time in prison, which or in his prison, um, which to me when I first thought about it, I think your initial reaction is to think like, oh, he still remembers, or like that person, that the monster, quote unquote, is the person that knows the secret. That's all he is now, because basically he got split into two personalities. But I
Mhm.
think that now, kind of further thinking about it, I think it's more that he does still, like, he doesn't know, and that part got erased from him. But it is just like there's something kind of along the themes that what we've been talking about, like, you can make a prison out of whatever. You don't have to be in a cell or in a room. I think that it was just like the shit that he went through kind of got him, so like almost like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. Like, even though he's on the outside, he's still like institutionalized, and you just can't get away from that. I think that there was something that got done to him that he just can't, like, that's just kind of his like response to that like moment, that situation, that feeling.
Like a trauma or a trauma
Basically, that's like
response
his
or
like
something.
that's like his trauma response, and
Yeah.
he might not even know that it's his daughter, but he just can't, like, that's just like the initial ingrained response. I think that's truly what it is. I think that he doesn't know, and it did get erased, and that's
Mhm.
just kind of how he's conditioned. That might be the right word, conditioned.
I don't really have a strong feeling one way or the other. I would say I lean towards I do think he remembers, and I think his performance to me kind of gives me that feeling. Um, I don't know what exactly it is that I think it's effective because it is vague. It's very um, you can read it either way, but I think it makes more sense for the movie if he does remember, because now he has to carry that with him, and it's like one of the things with this movie is like, how are you going to carry your trauma? Are you going to basically do what the villain does, and now you're using it and you're basically passing it on to other people, or are you just going to carry it internally and try to make the best of it? Um, so that's my thoughts on that. What do you think, Christian?
I don't I like, and I brought this up again earlier with the laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. And I mean, if you look at his face, like in the end of the movie, right, that last shot, it very closely mirrors the picture with that quote on it. Um,
Yeah.
Now, whether or not he's laughing or weeping, I again, like you said, is ambiguous. Um, so I'm not entirely certain either, and I think that's what makes it work.
Mhm. And like there might be something to what Jimmy's saying with like the trauma response thing, because he does do it earlier in the prison when he sees that picture, because he's like mirroring it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's something there. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It might, yeah. You pointing out that quote, it might all tie together. I'm just
You know, it might. I'm if it does, I'm not quite clever enough to figure out what
yeah, me neither.
the thread is there. Maybe
Yeah,
I this deserves more viewings, even though I feel like I've seen this a lot. Um, so I don't know. I know it's a good ending, and I like the ending.
I do
Uh,
think this is a movie you can oversaturate. Like, I think this is the kind of movie I can watch like every 10 years. But I
Yeah.
think the more you look at it, like you're not getting anything extra from it. Everything is so psychological. It's like you could pull anything from it. I think the best way to watch this is watch it, give it tons of room to breathe, and then watch it at a different place in your life, and you'll get a
Well, yeah,
different
and
read on
and
it.
like a lot of people do that with classic literature that they read in like high school.
Yeah,
You know, it's like you revisit it as an adult, and you're like, oh wow, I got a lot more out of it than I did in school. Which is also kind of funny because I mean, there's a lot of classic literature like embedded into this movie. Like, I think the two that jump out, which I'm not the first person to point this out, but obviously, like the Count of Monte Cristo is like there's
yeah.
plenty of parallels there, and Oedipus
They
Rex.
even mention it. Yeah, they
Yeah,
even mention it in the movie.
and Oedipus Rex.
Yeah,
Like clear
Yeah.
examples of that, and so yeah, like just for that weird parallel. Again, I'm not the person that discovered that at all, but um,
I will say
yeah,
yeah,
it's there.
there's it's content heavy, you
Yeah.
know. So like, yeah,
I want to pile on this because I also am reading the wiki currently, and he says he named the character Odesu to remind the viewer of Oedipus, and
oh,
uh, uh,
is that like a Korean like translation or pronunciation of Oedipus?
I don't know. It just says Park Chan Wook stated that he named the main character Odesu to remind the viewer of Oedipus. I think it's because it's spelled the same, kind of.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, that could be.
but uh, honestly, because Wikipedia, now that I'm looking on it, there was that the Oedipus kind of inspiration, and there's a bunch of other things when you start to think about it, um, like just like Greek kind of like Greek gods and like all that type of stuff. Like it's kind of weird that the main character or like the protagonist and the antagonist are supposed to be from the same year in high school, but one of them is this like super young tech like or like some type of like rich young successful person, and this guy is like this old looking kind of like insane dude, and it kind of just like
Well, what
reminds.
would you look like after
Yeah,
15
he has
years
been
of
That's
in
fucking?
true,
he
but
has
like
been
you
in
know what I mean
prison for
though,
15 years.
like the dude
I
still
guess
kind of
yeah,
looks like 20 and the other dude looks 50.
yeah.
Maybe 50 is a little bit of exaggeration, but like you know what I mean, where it would just kind of be like sometimes it kind of gives the vibes of certain stories in like Greek stuff where it would be like God kind of just like fucks with a random mortal.
I'm not smart enough for this, but now that you're saying that, there could be something to like maybe his
Well,
his feeling of purpose of getting revenge is keeping him young. I don't know,
I
something
think
like
this is
that.
what good art does, though, is like you can draw parallels to things that might not even have been in mind when you were when you were writing it,
Yeah.
and this is
Real.
definitely good art.
Yeah. Real quick. Again, this is not a complete thought. It's just something I've now just thought of, and I'm still kind of figuring it out. So this might be a clunky idea, but I'm thinking about the one scene we didn't really talk about is one of my favorite scenes, which is when he is first released and he's on the roof with the guy who's about to kill himself, and it's very funny because like he makes the guy sit and listen to his story, and then as soon as the guy wants to tell a story, he just walks away. But like, I think that guy is interesting, and his inclusion, the more I think about it, is like interesting. Because if you look at him, Daesu, and then the villain, they're like three completely different ways of handling trauma. And you could argue that guy's is like it's the most self-destructive version, whereas the villain's is the most outwardly destructive. But in a way, yeah, and then you get Daesu, who's kind of in the middle. He's not because of what happens with Mito and everything. And honestly, I would kind of wonder if the right thing to do would have been for her to know what's going on. but at the same time, then you're passing that trauma to her as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not really a complete thought, but I thought that was interesting now that I'm thinking about that.
Or like, maybe even like an outwardly destructive and then like an inwardly destructive because he basically loses his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of a mix of the two of them.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting that for a revenge movie, that the person who gets revenge ultimately at the end is the antagonist.
Yeah.
I think that there's a couple really good scenes, and I do want to talk about that corridor sequence, but I think before we do that, because it got brought up when the antagonist gets his revenge, and he's in the elevator, and he kind of has that like hallucination. I just thought
Yeah.
that was
was
just
good.
really good, man.
So I read that as, I think it's pretty, it's on the wall. The writing's on the wall. But like, I read that very clearly, and that's why I think Park Chan-wook is such a great director. It's great symbolism and everything. And it's just like he's finally letting go of his trauma, but now he feels empty, and he basically kills himself, which is his sister doing the same thing is what spurred him on this whole journey anyway. So it's like everything in the end, his whole scheme of getting revenge feels pointless because he didn't make anything constructive out of that. And that's what I mean when it's like, I like how the movie portrays revenge. It's super effective at motivating you to get things done. It's a great motivator, but ultimately it can leave you empty because it's not constructive. It doesn't leave you in a better place than you were. It ultimately it can be just destructive, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did like that scene, Jim. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
I like, flash forward like what, 10, 11, 13 years later, and then you get to see that exact hallway fight in Daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's a direct homage, right? But then, like a lot of movies, homage. Like this kind of did a lot for the action genre for a while. I mean, like there's a lot of DNA in this movie, or this movie's DNA, and like things like John Wick too.
Yeah.
I mean, turned up to 11, obviously, but yeah, like this is a very influential movie for like action.
I do think it's funny that it's listed as an action thriller.
To me, it's more of like a noir. But
yeah, that's a good description for it. I was gonna say mystery, but that's kind of goes hand in hand. That's what it is. It's like a psychological noir, more than a thriller to me. I don't really see the thriller aspect of it.
no,
at
nor
all.
do I. I mean, this is like a really like it's got a lot of staples of like a noir thing, right? Not just the aesthetics, even though they are there in part, but it's like it's super super melodramatic, and like the mystery is engaging, and the main character is like this very like gruff, rugged, like unpolished protagonist.
Yeah. His performance is great, by the way. We haven't really talked to. I mean, they're all pretty good.
Sick, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I think I'm not sure.
I think that's right.
I'm not gonna lie and say I think so. I'm not sure at all.
Let me look at. Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Okay.
What other Jim? I'll open this up to you because there's a few you may have seen. Honestly, like what other of his movies have you seen?
You're talking about the director or that?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let me.
I don't think he's seen any of them.
I don't think I would have either. Let me.
What have
pop
you seen?
through.
So I've seen a few. I've seen
Have you
No
seen this
Other
whole
Choice.
trilogy?
What trilogy?
This
So this is part of like
trilogy.
this is like a loose part of a trilogy, the
Oh,
Revenge
I didn't
trilogy.
know that. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
I think the other
Oh,
one
is
is
that Lady Vengeance?
Lady Vengeance is the third one, and
Okay.
I can't
I
remember what
haven't
the
seen
first
that
one
one
is.
yet.
Mr. Vengeance, something. Hello, Mr. Vengeance, or something.
I've seen more of his later stuff, which I like all of it. That's what I mean when I say I think he's progressed as a director. When I watch some of his newer stuff, even if like I don't always love the script as much, because his scripts I think are very hit or miss. I think as a director, he's like he has to be one of the best visual directors like around. I think he's gotten so much better. But I watched No Other Choice. That's great. That was recent. The other one was The Handmaiden. I thought that was really good as well.
That's one I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a few others. I watched Decision to Leave, which I thought was pretty good. That's probably the weakest of the good ones I've seen, in my opinion. And then the last one I saw was Stoker, which is actually his like American movie. So Nicole Kidman's in that. That movie sucks. It is an awful movie. I just watched it last night. It is so bad. I couldn't believe how bad it was.
Are you not a Snowpiercer person?
That's Bong Joon-ho.
He had something to do with Snowpiercer, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna look it up. He was a producer. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's my fault.
But yeah, I mean, he's probably the reason, because this might have been around the same time as Memories of a Murder.
It is same year, 2003.
Same year. Okay, so I can't necessarily say he's the reason.
That movie.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say he's the reason for like Korean cinema's success worldwide, but this movie is a big reason because it did translate overseas really well.
No, like speaking of like him and I guess same Memories of a Murder, Snowpiercer. Bong Joon-ho is probably the other big like Korean director outside of Korea that most people know.
Yeah.
That's Parasite?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And honestly, he's the better director in my opinion. Or I shouldn't say that. He has better movies in my opinion.
Bong Joon-ho does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I don't know. They're both just so interesting. Every one of their movies, I'm in line.
What's the word I'm looking for? Exoticize or like fetishize like Eastern filmmaking, but like they've had film almost as long as we have had film, right? Like it was a rapidly spread technology. But they like the approaches to film in like different cultures that have been making films for like over a century are really interesting because there's a different artistic roots there, and there's a different approach to like how you communicate things. And it's just interesting across cultures. Like that's why I kind of like foreign films, because it's like, oh, the audience is connecting with this, or the audience it was intended for is connecting with this in a different way. So you kind of have to adapt your viewing habits to watch like Korean movies, Japanese movies, Russian movies. Does that make sense? Like it's a very interesting exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I also just think the stories they decide to tell can be different, and the way they tell them can be different because of the market. It's just a different market. Like in America, there are indie films, but like a big chunk of the movies are made for. They're big budget, blockbuster filmmaking, and I'm sure they have a version of that, but a lot of what translates, which I think is a big consideration, what translates worldwide for them are stories that are just good, So like I think they're more willing to take chances in certain ways and tell stories that are kind of off the wall, like Oldboy is. So
yeah, I mean,
I think the market does have to do with it.
It does, but my point also too is like I like the film snob in me, I guess, if you want to use that word. Like I encourage people to just watch foreign films because you're gonna get different stories and like different experiences. Like you know who says it actually in a really interesting way? Denzel Washington of all people. There was an interview, and I can't remember what movie it was for, but it might have been a Spike Lee movie. But they were like, could Steven Spielberg make a Spike Lee movie? And it's like, no, right? And it's not about.
Yeah.
Have you seen what I'm talking? You seen what I'm talking?
Yeah.
It's not about race. It's about culture.
Yeah.
And the understanding of culture. And I was like, oh wow, that's like a really good way to describe that. So it's
Yeah.
like you're going to get different things out of watching foreign films or films of different cultures, and I just think that's an interesting. I don't know. I try to
No, yeah, definitely.
like it's a good way to expand your horizons.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite movies ever, Seventh Seal, or like even if you want to get even like more film snobby, like I like Kurosawa. I've mentioned that on the podcast a couple of times. Like you can't get those kinds of experiences anywhere else. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think you don't get it as much with like some TV shows do, I guess, translate like Squid Games, but it's not as common, and like music is a little harder as well. So I think like film is one of those.
It's a visual medium, and
Yeah,
it's about like the telling a good story and like having a good experience with what you're seeing and hearing and listening to, and so yeah, like with like the visual medium, and again, I think mostly movies as well because you just get time and space to play with visuals a lot more usually.
yeah.
There is something universal about watching it, even if it's like I'm not from here.
What have you seen of Park Chan-wook's movies?
I've seen well, not Snowpiercer. I keep thinking that's him because he's a producer on it. I always think of his name. I've seen The Handmaiden.
Okay. Did you like that less than this? Is this your
Yes,
favorite? Okay.
yes. The
This
Handmaiden's a good movie.
I also like that, but I do think this is better. I would say the only movie of his that I put almost on the same level, or maybe even better than this one, is No Other Choice. I really did love No Other
Yeah,
Choice.
I've been meaning to get around to that, especially because you had a lot of good things to say about it last year.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's on my list to watch. Now, I'm kind of interested in watching the other two movies from this time that make up the trilogy, Lady Vengeance,
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that
and
one.
I
I
for
don't
the
know
life
the
of
other
me
one.
can't remember.
It's called Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
Okay,
Mm.
Mr.
yeah, the
and
Vengeance
Mrs.
trilogy.
Vengeance.
Yeah,
Um,
'cause I don't know. Maybe just there's a deeper exploration when you watch all three of them of the theme of revenge, which could be interesting.
what's the what's our call? What's our callback? What was the one that we saw from the trilogy? The British dude cop movie.
Hot
The
Fuzz.
There you go.
the
There you go.
Cornetto trilogy.
Maybe we'll bang out a
Yeah, we
trilogy one
also
of these
only
days.
watched the second one, I think, in the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah. What are other, not to sidetrack, but what are some other trilogy movies, unofficial trilogy movies that you know?
The Dollars trilogy.
Dollars
Okay.
trilogy.
Did we watched the second one of that, right?
No, first one.
Ah, look at us switching it up.
The Human Condition trilogy, which I think is actually a hard trilogy.
What is that?
Instead of like, it's a Japanese movie.
Okay.
The Colors trilogy, which is another foreign one actually, by Christoph something.
Porzingis.
I can't tell. I couldn't tell you, but I've heard a lot about those movies as well. That they're on my list.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like, honestly, probably a lot of French New Wave shit. They're like, yeah, this is part of my fucking
Yeah.
like
My conceptual trilogy of an
My
idea
genre.
or an emotion. This is
Just
my
like-
happy trilogy.
it's like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna watch Breathless and call it a night. But yeah, thank you.
Um, if you guys want, I want to bang on. I want to bang on about the corridor scene because I don't know,
Go ahead.
man.
Yeah.
Just some of the rawness and realness of it. It makes it different. Maybe it's because it's one continuous shot. It just, I don't know. Like you watch a Marvel movie and there's like that like choreography combat instead of just like the way that this movie portrays the combat to be kind of maybe how I perceive it to be quote unquote more real, where it's like
Mhm.
chaotic. It just seems like more authentic. I know I keep saying synonyms, but it's just like you got these guys that are freaking slipping on the floor. They're like
Yeah.
they're hit. Sometimes they're swinging and they hit their own guy. Just like the chaos of it all, him swinging his hammer, like dropping it and trying to go to like pick it up, and I don't know, even not like specifically the corridor scene. That whole fight scene was awesome, and apparently Wikipedia says one continuous take, crazy, wild. But even the other fight scenes of the movie, there's still like kind of more of that element of a realness to it that I don't
Unpolished,
see.
like
Yeah.
not the
Well,
smoothest fight in the world kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah, because you know what I mean. Because you know how like you'll see some movies like it's almost like if you play
a
GTA
dance.
5 long enough, when you
Yeah.
go to have an interaction with like an NPC and he goes to throw the punch and you like can slip it and you do like the 1 2 3 combo. It's just get you just gotta see
Mm.
certain moves in like in a movie fight scene so much. Maybe it's because there wasn't. It, I mean, it's 2003. There was obviously fight scenes and stuff, but before then. But I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about it where I was like, it made me like I don't know what it is. It like made me hold my breath almost when I was watching it as it just kept going
Yeah,
and
I
like it
think
was
an
so quiet.
important I think an important piece of it is he's so outnumbered,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the time in a movie where like a guy is outnumbered to that extent, it becomes like silly
Yeah,
to
he's
where
not
it's
James
like,
Bond outnumbered. Like he's
yeah.
real life outnumbered.
Well, I think he almost is. Like he's so outnumbered it's ridiculous, but because of the execution of how it's shown, it's like the most believable way a
Right.
guy could win a fight like that because of like Jimmy's saying, all that chaos and
No,
everything
that's what I'm
going
saying.
on.
Yeah, like I'm saying James
Yeah.
Bond would have done that like no struggle, no problem. He
Right,
wouldn't have gotten
right.
stabbed in the back and slipped on the floor and like
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
he
I
would have
was
just done it
thinking like
cool.
just the sheer number of guys, but yeah, I see what you're saying
Maybe
now. But like,
also
yeah, I mean, it's and then once you get to that second group of guys, it's just like
he
that
just fucking
comedic release after that,
quad wipes him.
and it's just yeah.
But even that,
So
like
I think that's a big part of it.
just goons. It's just maybe it's just because I really enjoy a good goon. And at like a certain point
Clip
when they
that.
realize that they're getting their ass kicked, they just keep throwing the big fat guy up there because he's big and fat. And he's like, do something. And he's just like, my knee hurts.
Yeah, yeah. This movie is like it's really cool because it is equal parts like absurd and tragic and hilarious,
Yeah.
and yeah, that translates definitely really well to fight scenes.
Yeah. And then one more feature of the film that I want to specifically highlight. Wikipedia is saying uh the octopus being eaten alive
Oh
was not
yeah.
computer generated.
No, that's real.
4 were used during the filming of the scene. Um, the eating of squirming octopus is a delicacy that exists in East Asia, although it is usually cut and killed, not eaten whole and alive. Squirming is a result of post-mortem nerve activity in the tentacles of the octopus. When asked in DVD commentary if he felt sorry for Chow, director Park Chan-wook stated he felt more sorry for the octopuses. Which, looking back, I thought that it was some type of gimmick. That's crazy that he just chomped. Not only imagine pulling up to the set that day. You're like, all right, cool. You know, we're gonna have this scene. You're gonna chomp on an octopi, and not only do you got to do it once, you got to eat another 4 more of them.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it as long as he's eating them. In Friday the 13th, they cut the snake's head off. That pissed me off, man. That fucking pissed me
Yeah,
off. So this I'm okay with.
I agree. There's like one like you said he's actually consuming it, so there's like use for that and two it's a cultural thing, so like whatever. There are
Yeah.
other directors and I've like avoided name dropping him in the past, and I'm going to try my best to avoid name dropping him now because I don't want to give him any attention as an artist. Um, there have been like I think 1 or 2 cases of actors quitting his movies because he wanted to kill an animal for the film, yeah, like purely for the purpose of entertainment, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah. But I think the whole squid thing, that's almost the most memorable part of this movie, like
He's like, I want to
culturally.
eat something alive.
I feel like I see that more from this movie than I hear people actually talk about the ending or the reveal or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh God, what movie did I watch recently where Oh, I think I talked about it on the last podcast or the podcast before that. Strozak, the Werner Herzog movie.
Yeah.
So many people talk about the final shot of the dancing chicken, but not like the rest of the movie, which is fucking amazing. And I'm like, why are we hung up on this one thing?
This is also, I want to point out, the third movie in a row that we've watched where the main character has just an awesome A+ friend. This
True.
guy is. So we actually didn't talk about this, but while he's in prison, he's framed. Which is another like absurd and hilarious part of the plan. They frame him for his wife's murder while they have him locked up in prison. It's maybe it's not funny, but it was funny to me.
Just
But
him
this
sitting
guy
there
never,
depressed,
as
listening
soon as
to
he
it.
sees him again, he never doubts him. He's like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, you're finally you're here. Where did you go?" And he's just like back to being buds. So, just a great friend there.
Let's get to the internet cafe.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can call this an unofficial trilogy as well. The unofficial
The best
friends
friend.
trilogy.
The best
Yeah,
friend
best
trilogy.
friend trilogy.
Going in the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there anything else you guys want to reference or talk about?
Just thinking about anything we might have missed. Just like, I don't know. As far as like, I like how the whole reveal unravels, because specifically how it unravels, it kind of pulls you back and forth. Like you're never. It kind of makes you think a different thing a few different times before it actually gives you the full truth. Like, you're not sure why the sister died, like, until the very last moment. And I just think how that's all unravels is really cool, because you keep thinking, oh yeah, like I think I get it, and then you're like, oh wait, okay, I get it now, and then it's just finally you do
Yeah.
get it.
Like any good noir movie would do.
Yeah, so I do like how they unravel that. Otherwise, I do like that's kind of going hand in hand. The whole scrapbook reveal of that Mito is his daughter.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that's done really well.
You know what's crazy that I'm just thinking about? Because they're both hypnotized, right? That she's gonna fall in love with her dad no matter what. Well, not that her dad, but she's gonna fall in love with him because he activated her what's it called?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, her
Her-
Winter Soldier protocol. Uh Even if she did look at it and know, I think it would be like the same thing. Like it would just she would kind of be put in the same like state that he was. But I get what you were saying before about through the theme of like trauma, like stopping that from being passed
Yeah.
on.
I do have a question, because now that you're saying that, if you read the ending as the hypnosis didn't work, and this is another reason I like that read, it introduces the element that the hypnosis may not be reliable, and how much fault can you place on their actions on the hypnosis versus just on their own behavior. So like they're culpable for their own actions. It's like, I think that adds another element to the movie that's really interesting. Because you kind of just take for granted, like, when he says that he hypnotized them, like, okay, they had no control. But like, he even goes out of his way to explain, like, he can't make them fall in love. He can only kind of point them at each other. So I think that's interesting, all that stuff.
Mm.
It's more material to be like, this whole movie's about like your actions and like how culpable you are for them, and like does the villain's trauma give him a valid reason to do all this stuff? Like, obviously no. So like it's just untackling all that stuff, and like yeah, I just think it's interesting.
I like the big ant. I
That
think
was
I might
my
actually make that wall art.
yeah, that big ant
The big
was
ant.
my
That would be a
first
good one.
letterbox profile picture for like a week before I switched it to what it is now.
I do love that he just kind of does like a sup kind of motion too.
Yeah.
It's not just that he's just there.
It's
he's
one of
got
those screen
personality.
grabs that's just like so absolutely absurd, and I love like my background on my phone for like when I was a teenager was the ATM from American Psycho that says "Feed me a stray cat."
Yeah.
I love stupid screen grabs like that, where it's like within the context of the movie, you're like, "Wow, this
Mhm.
has to be deep," but if you just take it out of context, you're like, "What the fuck am I
What is
looking at?"
happening? Yeah. What else? What else?
One other thing, I think with this movie, um, it's kind of funny because their whole the situation with Daesu and Mito, like when they meet, from the beginning, it feels like contrived. The whole love angle there, to me, it did at least. And like as you're consuming the movie, you're like, oh, this feels like off. Like I don't really know if I like this. Like I'm not buying this. So like when he does finally give that reveal about the hypnosis, it's kind of like doubly impactful because you're like, damn, like the
Hmm.
whole time I was like, this is like not feeling right. So yeah, that was another piece of that I liked. At least I felt that way. I don't know if you guys felt that way. Like early on, I just felt like the whole idea of like he goes to this restaurant and then he ends up in her house is like crazy, which it is.
Yeah.
They say it
I mean,
is.
I kind of wrote it
when
off.
you're locked up for 15 years, the best way to bird dog is to bird dog fast.
I kind of wrote it off as like in the beginning, when she was talking to that person. I forget if it just happened to be the what was his name, Mr. Park, the one that gets his hand cut off
Mhm,
and all that. I don't know if that
mhm.
was him specifically or it was just like a goon. I thought it might have been that she was part of the scheme.
Well, yeah, I think that's another good element of it. I think they kind of, and he goes down that whole rabbit hole. He's kind of suspicious of her, and it leads to the whole situation where they're at her house and everything. Yeah, so I think that is part of it too. They do want you to suspect. They constantly want you to suspect something's not right there, but they don't necessarily want you to know what's not right until they finally give you the information, and then it contextualizes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
and
it's
and
just
they plant the hypnosis seed very early, so it's like anything
yeah,
that is happenstance could be part of that hypnosis. So you just have to be
yeah.
like, like very on guard watching it. Like, did that happen of his own volition, or did he notice that of his own volition, or is this part of the hypnosis?
Right. Do we want to
Yes.
rate it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes. Uh, you go first.
I know this is my movie, but I did not give it 5 stars. I wondered if that was against the rules.
No.
I gave it
No,
four.
no.
I gave it 4.5. I really love the movie. It's not like one of my favorite movies of all time necessarily, but I think it's a really great movie, and I think it's a movie. It's first of all, it's a classic. I think it's something everyone should see. There's so much about it that introduces you to so many positive things about filmmaking as an art form, for foreign films, and then just like certain elements and the mystery reveal and everything like that. So I think there's a lot of pieces to it that are good for, um, like kind of Jimmy's situation. He's kind of getting more into watching stuff, and so this is a good movie for that. But yeah, it's 4.5. It's not quite like one of my favorite movies, but it's great.
I'm gonna. I gave it 5. I gave it 5. I think this is a movie that um I had it at 4.5 until this viewing, and then I just I don't know, something I was maybe more impressed with this, like the cinematography and the camera this time around, and there's definitely like it's such rich content material to talk about, and I think it's worthy of that 5 stars in my opinion.
I gave the movie. Well, first, I think that the movie is really good, and I definitely think that no matter what, uh, regardless of our opinions, you guys should watch the movie for yourselves. Yeah, I had a very good time. I thought the movie was good. The performances were awesome, and I got to see a dude whack it to me, look me in the eyes as he busts. That was dope.
To you? Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
because
what?
you know where he's looking at the chick singing, and then it cuts to him staring at you as he's
Oh, I
staring
forgot.
at the camera as he's whacking it.
You might have.
I'm a
That-
feminist, but there are
All right, that's a great place to
solid
end.
4.5.
Come back next week.
4.5, 4.5.
There is something that happens where, like, when we talk about the movie, it does make me want to give it a 5 star now because, like, when you think about everything this movie does, it is so amazing. I'm
Like, how many movies do you
I'm not gonna
know that a
change. I'm not
guy
gonna switch
breaks
it.
a CD and kills somebody with it? How many movies do you know?
At least 12.
Hmm. Hmm. How about when a guy gets thrown into a window, he falls to the floor, and then dramatically the window explodes 10 seconds later?
It's got to be at least in the 500s.
Dramatically explodes, subtle, slow crack, and then
Is
just
that in the script? Does the script say the window dramatically explodes?
sexily explodes.
Actually explodes.
Um. So yeah, while I load up
No, that's what he
the
was doing when
wheel,
he was looking you in the eyes.
he was, dude. I felt like he was looking at me directly when he was doing it. I felt parasocial at that moment. Anyway, you guys talk about movies you've seen while I load up. Actually, special surprise, we are unveiling. Remember, if you watch any of the first couple podcasts, we did the wheel, right? The wheel is back, and it is on
Are we picking?
steroids.
Are we picking for staff picks?
Uh, I was just gonna pick for a movie. Are we doing staff picks again? Is this another? Oh,
Yeah, but we usually don't announce it beforehand, do we?
No, I think staff picks. We don't pick another. We just because it's not like it's different
we just say
series, right?
goodbye. Okay,
Yeah.
Oh, we
Okay.
don't do a wheel. Oh, that's true.
that's true. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. We could just talk about movies we saw.
Yeah, just talk about movies.
Um, I saw Backrooms. It was okay. It was okay. And then I haven't really seen anything else, except that movie Stoker, which was terrible. I did play the James Bond game, lots of fun. And then I played a game called Dispatch, it's like a Telltale style game,
Yeah.
but
I
it has
love-
more of a game mechanic, which I love the game mechanic of like the dispatching the heroes and everything. So that was fun.
I played
And the
James
story
Bond
was
game as
pretty
well.
good.
First
Go
Light
ahead.
was awesome. I'll admit, I agree with you there. It was great.
Yeah. First Light, the only thing that was bad about it, honestly, is that like you want the story to keep going. It's like it
Yeah,
leaves you
dude,
on
yeah.
such a great moment of like, oh, I want to keep playing. So
I
that's a
wanted
good
more. I wanted more. So hopefully we get more.
thing. Yeah. But
Outside
other
of
than that,
that,
yeah.
I have like a laundry list of like shitty Amazon movies I watched that maybe I'll get into like deeper about at another time.
Okay. I am not watching anything right now. I'm currently reading uh Tokyo Vice by Jake Adelstein. Apparently it is a Max original series. So, if you guys have seen that, let me know if it is as similar as the book. I've been trying to do a lot more reading. Bought a couple magazines for the articles. Uh and then I'm gonna start diving into fiction soon. So I got a lot of fiction lined up.
I can
I
set you up
think
there
I'm
too.
mentally ready to. Well, the first one has to be, what's the one that I was talking about that you Catcher in the Rye. I want to
Is it-
reread Catcher in the Rye because I think I'm finally mentally capable enough to figure out if he's just a little bitch complaining, walking around in the city, or if there's some deeper meaning there. And when I reread it and don't find one and will be incredibly disappointed, then I'll actually pick up some certified banger books. But yeah, let's see. Make sure to watch other videos that we make, or else that will make me sad. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube as well. Primarily on YouTube. Shout out, subscribe on any of the various platforms. Podbean. I see you.
Podbean.
I see you people watching on Podbean.
Letterbox.
We can say what's coming up, right? And then your staff pick would be next after the 2 upcoming movies, right? Or would it be 3?
We just listen. Once we get the Patreon going, I'll have a set schedule for these type of things. Whatever we get to do and then review and then gets posted, that'll be how it is. But I think, yeah, ideally, there will be at least 2 to 3 more pool movies, if we want to call them that, symposiums, and then I will force you guys to sit down and watch a movie of my choosing. What have I seen that I think you guys haven't that I would be worth recommending?
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to maniacally wax philosophically about what
I'm in my
watch.
pajamas.
And I want you,
Jimmy, I don't think you. Well, maybe that is in the spirit
I'm gonna
of a
tie
staff
you
pick.
guys
I was going
down.
to say, I don't think you have to do one you have seen. Maybe just one you want to see. The rules might be different for you.
low key, when I first thought about the concept, I was like, you know what I want to do? I wanted to do, and maybe I'll do it for my second staff pick. I think it would have been a good idea to have a wheel of sequels for movies that we reviewed.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
That's interesting. I like
That's
that.
not a bad idea, yeah.
So that might
Or
be
a related, like if it's by a same director or same actor.
or something long.
If there's no sequel.
Yeah.
If you make me watch another Dirty Harry movie on this fucking podcast,
Low key, I was thinking of Click. I was thinking of making you guys watch Click. I'm not gonna pick that.
it's your staff pick, bud.
The day you pick Click is the day this ends.
Listen,
The
if we
honeymoon
can,
will be over.
we watched.
Might end the next podcast.
We watched Jack the Bear. We watched the Shane Dawson
Jack
movie.
the Bear was fun to watch. That was fun. And we never did a
Lost
pod,
episode.
and I'm still mad about it. I had lots to say about it.
We could low key.
No,
we
we
could
couldn't.
do it. We could do it.
No, that'll be the special.
That'll be
When
the
we get a-
Patreon
when we get a
exclusive
million-
$50 episode tier.
When we get 1 million subscribers, we do the Jack the Bear pod.
You know what? I'll make that deal.
I think I said all that needs to be said. Check us out on our various letterboxes. It's all in the link below. The link tree has everybody's. Christian's letterbox, Robbie's letterbox. I don't think I put mine because I don't want you to see. I don't want you people to see what I write. But yeah, all the other links to the stuff and the things. Take it away, guys. Last word goes to anyone. Anyone can take it.
Robbie.
Fellas, if you get put in prison for 15 years, do not.
Just walk away.
Do not. Just do
don't.
not.
Just
That's
don't.
it. Just don't. Just don't. Don't do that. Don't do it. It's not good.